Welcome back to San Antonio Living. Right now, we're really hoping to change the way people look at mental illness, especially when it comes to children, because 1 in 5 kids have some sort of a struggle that they have with mental illness. And so today we've brought in a couple of experts to talk about the movement to really change the mindset and how people look at those who are struggling with mental illness. And we have Rebecca Helterbrand here with 1 in 5 Minds Advocate, and then we have Liza Long, I should say.
Thank you.
Who is the mother of a child who is living with a mental illness and also an advocate, really just spreading the word and helping parents out there. So welcome to both of you. I thought we had gotten past this stigma that, it's not really an illness, or that there must be something wrong with a person because of having a mental illness. But we have a long ways to go.
We do. In fact, 1 in 5 children will have a mental illness. That's 20%. If our community's children, 20% had leukemia, there'd be a public outcry and a rallying of resources to eradicate the disease. Yet 20% of our community's children have an illness, and this mental illness. Where's the public outcry? Where's the rallying for support? And Liza has so much information to share as a mom who's fighting this every single day.
Right, I just think it's a huge challenge for parents. We would never blame a parent for his or her child's cancer, like to use the cancer analogy that Rebecca uses, and yet we blame parents for their children's mental illness, and even worse, we blame the children. And to me, that's the biggest tragedy. In fact, I don't think the stigma meter has budged since 1999 when NAMI, the National Alliance of Mental Illness, an advocacy group, did a study called Families on the Brink. And Leslie, that's what it is, it's families on the brink.
And it truly does impact the whole family, other children, obviously the child. And let's talk about, how did you know that you're going to walk this journey? When did you know?
Well, I'm very much an accidental advocate, I will say that. My role as a mental health advocate for children began, unfortunately, the day of the Sandy Hook shootings, when Adam Lanza shot 20 first graders and 6 educators in Newtown, Connecticut. And that night, I sat down and posted something on my anonymous blog where I said, I'm Adam Lanza's mother, and I wasn't even out to my own community at that time about my son's mental illness. I'm an educator in Boise and a writer, and I sit on a lot of boards and all that kind of fun stuff, and people did not know that I was walking that struggle every day with my son. And it's been a strange journey. We've learned firsthand exactly what stigma means.
And it's hurtful, and it gets in the way of treatment. What else does it do?
I think very few people understand what it's like to have a child with mental illness. I do have 4 children. So my son, who we now know has bipolar disorder, he's 14 years old, and then I have 3 other children in the home as well. The thing I speak to most is a safety plan. And parents who don't have children with mental illness are like, a safety plan? What's that? Well, it's what am I going to do to keep my family safe? And it's something you drill on, like a fire safety plan, so that if your child goes into an explosive rage, and I am not talking a temper tantrum here, but everyone in the family knows just what to do. And unfortunately in our society today, that usually involves calling the police, because they are the first responders for mental illness, both for adults and children. And
are they always trained in the best to respond?
Unfortunately, no. I mean, a lot of cities are getting more proactive with crisis management teams, taking a more proactive approach toward mental health, but we have a long way to go. We still tend to treat mental illness, even for children, people don't believe this, in prison.
And so, Rebecca, what can people do? What if someone right now is thinking that their child may need some assistance?
The best thing you can do is start having the conversation at the kitchen table, at church, everywhere we live, work, and play. We need to start having conversations about children and mental illness so that we can normalize the situation, so we're treating children with physical illness the same we are with mental illness.
And that's a broad title, mental illness. What is under that umbrella?
Well, I work at Clarity Child Guidance Center, and we see a lot of different spectrums, everything from autism to ADHD to depression to bipolar, anxiety disorders. We pretty much see the gamut at our facility, and we help children 3 to 17, and we're the only nonprofit in our community that provides services from outpatient therapy to day treatment to even a hospital for children.
And I would think your website is probably the first place that parents can go when they're at their wits' end.
There's 2 great resources. There's claritycgc.org, or if you want to advocate for children in need of help, There's 1in5minds.org with the numerals, 1in5minds.org.
And Liza will be speaking, right? Tell us quickly about that.
Yes.
October 14th, you can register at 1in5minds.org/events, and you can learn all about what's happening with her family and how you can be an advocate.
Okay, thank you so much for coming in
Thank you
today.
for